Okay. Hello, everyone. This is SARE Ladies, and we are so excited to have you on the podcast today. I'm your host, Anita Wong, and this is my co-host, Tiffany Lee. And today we have awesome guests. And the reason why is because we're going to be hosting the SARE Ladies panel, and we're going to be having, well, actually, just Ganga, but they're going to be representing the both of them for our SARE Ladies panel, which is going to be in Long Beach at the end of July. We're gathering hundreds of Asian investors, and we're going to be talking about, what's next, really. And so we're excited to be hosting and to really get a snapshot of what Ganga is going to be talking about at the panel today, and just to get to know them a little bit. So for all of you that are listening or coming to SARECon, it is a teaser for what is to come. And so welcome, Jen and Ganga.
Welcome. So glad.
Thank you for having us.
Right.
So excited to have you here. So today we're going to be talking about sustaining relationships through the winter. And the reason why I wanted to bring this up is that we're staring down the barrel of some really tumultuous times. We have inflation. We have a lot of speculations about where real estate is really going to go. And so we're going to be talking about how to sustain your relationships when you're just looking at a time where we need to bunker down. We need to where tumultuous things are going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen. So how do personal relationships and real estate relationships, whether you are in a partnership or you're going to be looking for one, we want to know why it's important. And and then Tiffany's going to introduce our guests.
All right. So we are excited to introduce Jen and Ganga to give you guys some additional color on why they are so qualified to talk about what they're bringing to the table today. Their company is Infinite Performance, where they empower people to have extraordinary relationships, whether it's business or personal. And they are extremely good at helping people get lasting results everywhere in life. They have taken individual clients, employers, and companies into exponential growth. So without further ado, Anita, why don't you kick it off with the first question for them?
Tell us how you came to work together and your ties to the real estate industry.
Absolutely. I'll take that one. So Ganga and I met about 6 years ago in a personal development workshop in a leadership training, and we were sitting next to each other, and we just both got to know each other better and really aligned on wanting to make a difference for people. At the time, for me, it was teenagers dealing with Asian Americans, really dealing with mental health issues in the Bay Area who didn't feel like they could talk about those things at home. And then with Ganga, she was already making such a big difference as a coach. She's been coaching for 16 years now. And in fact, I actually got certified in neurolinguistics from her 2 years ago. And so we do that together. But yeah, when we met 6 years ago, I mean, we just started to really talk about things we were dealing with. She wanted to find a romantic relationship. I was also on the same boat. And then through supporting each other, I got married. She was my bridesmaid. And when I got married, my husband received the deed to the family properties. That one of them was an apiary, and his family is in Bulgaria. So at the time, I was working at a real estate private equity firm. He was in IT, and Ganga was working in financial services as well during that time. And so when I had left my company on good terms, I'd offered to help them hire my replacement. And so I just asked Ganga, like, hey, you've been working in financial services. What do you think about doing investor relations at this company and purchasing all kinds of commercial properties with this company? And so she took the role. And so we have that experience together as well. And then I moved to Bulgaria, and we have a honey company now with my honey. So my husband and I, we're also business partners. And so I have that. And then a year into, Ganga and I stayed in touch almost every day after moving. And so I got certified with her as a coach, and we both shared the real estate background, and we just decided, why don't we just join forces and make a lot of money and make a big difference with people not just professionally, but in personal relationships and every relationship, because our motto, what we believe in is wealth everywhere, you know, finances, relationships, health, all of it. And you can have it all.
It's amazing. I got chills, Jen, when you said that you got married and you received a deed. That gave me chills. I was like, and you got a deed.
Yeah.
You had a deed.
And then Ganga's getting married too. So
that's amazing. Oh, well, this is all within the course of 6 years, the 6 years that you've known each other.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Oh. Amazing. I love that. So obviously you guys jumped into relationship as a focus of your coaching company, and I want to hear about why you guys went into that as like the primary, like this is what's important, and then also why is it important now to focus on this area?
You want to take that one?
Yeah, sure. So without relationships, we can't have business partnerships. We can work for other people. We can work for ourselves. Without clients, we can work, right? And for everything, you need to have a background of commonality, right? And getting to know one another. And so Jen and I already had that. We have a background of a solid relationship. And since we had that, we noticed that others would give us compliments wherever we go, right? Like, I want to be like you guys. I want to find a friend who's also working with me. And we would get all these comments, right? And we realized we had something unusual. And as we were looking at it, we realized that it's not just our relationship that's unusual. We attract unusual relationships in general, and then we build on that, right? So we have good relationships at work, we have good partnerships at home, and we both have a good relationship, and her husband and she have a business relationship as well, right? So we realize this is so important, and many people don't have that. And so we started to look at what is good in our relationship and look for ways in which we could share it. And over time, they became programs. And we realized that, oh my God, we had our own tough journeys to get to a relationship. And so we wanted to share with others, because today dating is not easy. And then finding a good relationship and then keeping the relationship active and vibrant and working, right? And then same thing with relationships at work, right? Whether it's a business partnership or working with clients, working with peers, learning, mentorship, all this is through hard work of building the relationships and having strength in those relationships. And is it going to withstand difficult times? How is the communication? Is it solid? Is it something where you can talk freely no matter what's going on, right? That's the first challenge you have, is when you meet someone and you're honest and then you negotiate the terms, right? So that's how it starts. And then you find that the ones that work naturally have a win-win scenario where someone is pulling for you to win as much as they want to win. Those relationships are going to last longer than where one side is pulling for just themselves to win, right? So that's the first thing that shows up. And then when you build on that, right, how easy is it to work with someone? How hard is it, right? How easy is it to be open and honest and communicate when things are tough? So resiliency. We'll all go through our cycles of resiliency. So that gave us some insights into what's important, not just for us, but for what's important for everyone. And then that became the basis of what we created.
That's awesome. So, now I'm trying. It's so heady. Like I feel like, but I love that idea that you need to start from a place of trust, right? Because trust is the bedrock, the foundation to achieving great things together. If there's no trust to begin with, the whole thing just falls apart. And there's, I like that. Anita, you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think I really love that aspect of like resiliency. It's like you're really testing that, like the elasticity or like of your partnership. And I think it's exceptionally important when you're dealing with an upcoming recession where people lose their primary form of work. You have people not affording their own homes. They have and really things are really uncertain. So I guess it's really lends me to my next question. So what are the key things that business partners need to remember in these sort of turbulent times?
So I'll answer a little bit of that, and Jen, you can answer more if you like. What's key in relationships is open and honest communication. Let people know immediately when things are not going well. Don't wait. That's the first thing that builds trust. Is you didn't wait, you didn't strategize, structure what you were going to say, but you communicated to your clients, you communicated to your business partners right away as to, hey, this is not going the way we planned. What can we do about it? Let's get together. Let's communicate this to our clients. That's the first thing I think that jumps at me, is honest, open communication without worrying about the consequences. Because if you communicate, then people can find solution. But if you don't tell and you hide or you withhold, then that's not going to work out, especially in the long run. Like, we are in the business of making big decisions on behalf of others, and we impact other people, so we should really be mindful of that. So.
Like that.
Yeah, Jen, you have something to add?
No, that was great.
Yeah, I definitely love that, because I knew it reminds me of, I mean, I read a lot of Esther Perel. Actually, like, a word of the ground. that you know, and she has a book on infidelity, and she talked about, you know, even like when you're not transparent about things, it is a form of infidelity, right? Because you're not being open and honest, and you're hiding things. You know, when people just never wanted that. I mean, people just wanted the truth, and I love that you're just like, just kind of hit the road, and you're like, don't shy away from your clients, let alone your partner, with open, radical transparency, as Berners would say, radical transparency. Yeah. And then, so for those who maybe don't have any partnerships, and, you know, they're looking, you know, at new partnerships, I think that that's a really awesome time in times of recession. And as I say here in Silicon Valley, you know, unicorns are built during the recession. So there's a lot of new opportunities. Sort of when things die, there's new opportunity. What would you say to people that are seeking business partnerships in times of uncertainty? How do you source each other? I mean, you guys sort of landed at each other. It's like you were just sitting next to each other and just happened for it to be. But there has to be some sort of, like, there was that magnetic pull, and the things that you should look at.
I mean, I also sat next to many people in that course. It was 200 people in the room, but why did I choose Ganga, right?
Yeah.
So it starts with knowing thyself, right? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What do I like doing? What do I not like doing? What's negotiable? What's not negotiable? And being really, really honest with yourself first. What are my goals, right? And then finding, first, it's still self-discovery. What is it that I want in a partner? If I'm not good at this and I don't want to do this, I want a partner who is willing to do this, but wants the strength that I have. You know, you make a list. And then when you meet people, you're just upfront about that stuff. So that's you're going to attract the person. And you'll start to notice, when I say I want this trait or I don't want that trait, all the ways that it may show up or not show up based off of their responses or their results or their track record or whatever it is, you get all these cues, right? And so you have a very clear list, even if it's not written down, but it's, you know, here in the mind, it becomes very clear, jumps out at you. You know, you recognize it when you see it.
That really resonates with me, as I'm sitting here with both of you who are business partners, and I'm looking at Anita, who's my business partner. Because what are the odds? Like, Anita and I have talked about this from time to time at length, of like how crazy it is that we're like on different coasts, and we somehow found a way to meet each other and start a podcast. It was like a perfect alignment of chaos, but we were both in a similar headspace where we arrived at. We're like this, like, I think, Anita, why don't you tell everyone, if you want to share this, what your mom said about us? Because I think that was so beautiful. Like, when you told your mom about us, Anita told her mom about us before I even told my mom about us. So she did.
Meet the parents.
She was so excited.
I know. Yeah, I mean, like, I was just talking to my mom, and, you know, I always tell her things in small doses, as you know, as Asian moms would be, you know. And then she's always been like, like this project. Are you sure you're gonna go through it? But I think with Tiffany, it was a little bit different. It was a, where I was like saying, we're starting this new podcast. We're really aiming towards AAPI women, working with female investors, helping empower, more women in this space, right? And then, so I think it was like also, I mean, finding Tiffany in like we were just like on a random Facebook chat and we found each other and we just happened to be, similar age, like we were both Chinese on different coasts. But I think that level of like authenticity has been there, from the very beginning of our relationship. And, like it takes time to build that, right? Sometimes you think you know what you want, but it's not actually the thing that speaks to you really authentically. It's like, and to have someone else that also knows themselves authentically is so challenging, right? It's like, Tiffany admits all the time about, all of the things that she, has to go through and some of the like pretty vulnerable things. And that makes me, because she has shown me that transparency and that level of self-awareness, I'm like, okay, this is what I know I can engage with, but dishonesty, I don't know how to engage with.
Right. Like I try to always be an open book with people. Like everyone will always know where they stand with me, right? If I'm, but I always try to be cognizant to be kind about it. And I think Anita's, when we talk about like the best business partner ever, I feel like Anita's patience, especially with me, like, how they say like love is kind and love is patient. I'm pretty sure Anita loves me because she's been so kind and so patient. Every time I like miss, like, I'm like, I said the deadline was going to be today. I think we need to push it a few weeks later. And she's just like, okay. She's like, let's talk through like what's stopping us from hitting this deadline. Let's address it and, work through it together. And I think, that's something that's been missing for me in a lot of my relationships where I was like, oh, I'm experiencing this for the first time. And this is really great. This is healthy. This is me going on a tangent again, but
it's not a tangent. Accountability is super important when you can be that honest with each other and you hold each other to account because you know that the other person's doing it out of love, then it works. So no, that's totally relevant.
Oh, thanks. And then I love your chant, the thing, just to go a few steps back, right? About, how you and Ganga met and how you guys just like knew from the get-go, like not from, but it like took something where it just clicked. You saw a lot of the dots connecting, right? Anita had made mention of this Facebook group that we met on, right? But it literally was me posting a post about like, hey, does anybody know anything about syndications, which is another thing that you guys, a client base that you work with, right? So I had put a shout out for like, hey, does anybody know anything about syndications? I'm trying to put a presentation together for an audience, but I also attached a very like disturbing GIF image just to get attention. And I swear to you, like 500, maybe like 800 agents, like you can see how many people saw the post. There's only one engagement with it, and it was Anita. So she's like, I actually am going to a conference next week about syndications. And then we connected through Gmeet, and the rest is history. Now we have a podcast together. And this was less than 5 months ago. Wow. That's how fast it happened. Yeah. So I'm really proud of us. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think I'm going to circle back to some of the questions about the about partnerships or preparing for the winter, and sort of what are some practices that partners should address now that we're kind of in preparation time? What should we do? What should we assess with each other? Maybe like sit down things, or what would you suggest to people?
To have a plan on what they would do if things did not work out the way we expect them to, and prepare for it. Like, that, like, for example, I can imagine Anita having a contingency plan. I totally can imagine her having one, right? So actually talking to her and seeing what about that would work for you, what wouldn't work for you, but starting the conversation now instead of waiting for it to happen, because we might need to respond right away to certain things, right? So you can anticipate your own pattern and set yourself up to succeed. Like, okay, I know myself, I will need time. So, okay, what are the things I would need to know about the deals we're working on? Or what are the things that are missing from my repertoire that I need to study? What are the things that typically happen during recessions? And what can we do to mitigate certain types of risks, right? So those are things that they appear to be common sense, or they appear that we should know and we prepare, but we consciously kind of put it off, right? Because it's not comfortable to look at things from that perspective. But if we do look at it, then we are prepared. And the best thing we can do is prepare and prepare and prepare. So now that we know things may go winter, then spring. So spring is going to be there after winter. And at the same time, let's prepare for winter, right? So, yeah.
That should be the banner. I'd be like, spring is coming, don't worry.
Wait, I'm sorry. It might be like very early for me, but when we say winter, right, are we saying like the actual season winter, or is the metaphor for winter like a season?
It's a metaphor.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Like I wasn't sure. I was like, dude, I was like, guys, it's June. I was like, why are we talking about winter?
Yeah, I'll wax some spiritual stuff for you guys. So in many forms of Buddhism, right, they have something called winter training. And it's basically friends and family huddling together in winter and having a spiritual goal because New Year is coming. And then how are you going to prepare? So it also keeps you occupied, but at the same time, see, ding dong, winter is coming. Anyway, so sorry about that. I have construction going on, and the person is just coming in. So yeah, so it's literally preparing. And that's what's going to give us a solid foundation for what's coming next. And again, then we can, like, you have podcasts and you can talk and find resources, right? So we all can find mastermind and resources and mentorship towards that. So, yeah.
Or we can create one.
Yeah, good segue, because I want to hear about the projects that you guys are working on, about your new creation, and and how our listeners can engage with you on it.
Do you want to share about our course, Ganga?
Sure, absolutely. So we have two courses coming up, one for singles in relationships and one is for couples in relationship, both to create extraordinary relationships wherever you're at. We've coached parents to have better relationship with kids before. We've coached couples. We've coached single women, and what we thought is to create a course that will forward couples towards an amazing relationship, right? We all want that, and at the same time, we go through life individually. Like, I'm busy meeting my goals, and my partner's busy meeting his goals. So how do we come together? How do we communicate? How do we keep our goals in a relationship towards each other, right? It's so distracting. We all have a lot of hobbies, a lot of work, a lot of things that we are committed to, but then we need to also put in work towards our relationships, whether it's a business partnership, whether it's a single person working towards a love and romantic partner that leads towards marriage, or a marriage that leads towards a better goal and better achievements in that relationship. And everyone has goals like buying homes, having kids, going places, those goals as well. But what will get us there, right, is to work on ourselves constantly. And so we created different programs for that. So two of them we are launching. One is for singles and the other is for couples.
Yeah, and you can find out about it on our website, infiniteperform.com. Information about it and how to sign up is going to be there.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, and I want to say too that my husband and I are signed up to be part of this course. And I think I just want to say too, like, how exceptionally important it is to have, I mean, I believe thoroughly in having mentorship in every aspect of our lives. You know, like, I mean, I have a therapist for myself. I have a therapist for me and my husband. I have, coaching. I have like, a business coach. And I think about, like, you always need someone to help you, right? Just to help you sort through your things. And you can just be so busy. You just have no time. you can just focus on whatever you're doing all day, that you just need someone to take you out of your element and be like, hey, where's your relationship at? Because it's one of the most important things, right, that you have that is sustaining your business is actually the relationship. There's no business without the relationship, right? And so yeah, I highly recommend you guys going to the website and then checking this out. And then you guys are looking for new couples, like your business partners to engage in this course, right?
Anyone who's interested in having an extraordinary relationship, whether they're single, whether they're a new couple, whether they're a very long-standing couple, anyone who's committed.
Awesome.
Oh, committed. I was going to ask, I was like, do you guys have a course for situationships? Because I'm in New York and that's what a lot of people fall into.
Situationship.
I mean, yes. Okay, look, I met my husband through online dating. I went through that too.
Yeah.
Ganga too. She went through 200 dates before she found her fiance.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What's your suggestion for people like me who will flip through the apps, get bored, and then just delete the app and not deal with it again, and then just be like, I'm just gonna focus on my job? Anita's laughing because she knows a lot about my my dating history. Yeah.
First of all, Tiffany, you're not alone. So find comfort in that. And it's frustrating. The minute things don't go the way we want, we are turned off by it, right? We delete the app and we hope and pray there's another app which is slightly better at least, or has a better way of approaching the topic. But commit to it. Like if you want a relationship by next year or this year, just commit to it. And once you commit to it, don't go on and off it. Just say, I don't know how this is going to show up, but I'm so committed. It could show up as online. It could show up as a friend introduces you. It could show up in a hiking. You never know how you're going to meet this person, but at least stick to it for a finite period of time that you dictate. And say that by this time, I'm going to have this. And you will notice that things will move forward towards it. It's that when we get frustrated and we imagine that you're in a job and every few days you quit the job.
Yeah, that's basically me. That's me to a T.
So yeah, I know it sounds drastic, but then this is what happens, right? Because we think we have an option, but we don't, because we want a relationship. So we don't have an option but to work towards it, right? And imagine it's like that with all areas of our life, but we don't relate to it like quite like that. But if we did, then we'd have exactly what we say we want.
Yes. I think the tagline really should be the 200th is the charm. Like you have to keep going. You gotta keep going.
Better than 200 tries.
We can have
our course.
Brand new episode about that one. Because, yeah, think about it. I went from 200 dates, not really dates. Actually, he visited me for 4 days. That was our first.
Wait, this your now husband we're talking about? Your now husband? He visited you for 4 days?
He's my fiance, and we're getting married in November. And
congratulations!
Thank you. Yeah, and that really happened from me. I was like, I don't want to go through this dating thing, so I put forth that, and I got exactly that. He said, "I love you" to me before we went on our first official date.
What?
Yes.
And it was next episode. How long were you guys talking for before that happened? That would scare me. That's another thing. We can get it.
So not to scare you or anyone else. I knew him for 16 years before.
Oh, good. Okay, so you know him for 15 years. Okay. Yeah. It wasn't like a completion. That's so sweet. So it was an old friend. Oh, yes. I love that. I love stories like that. Yeah.
He was a friend, and I didn't know much about his personal life. So we got to know a lot quickly. And then he was like, you're the kind of person I really want. And so, I came to know about things that I would have never dreamt that I put out that I would get. And he was exactly what I created, I wanted. So it was pretty magic. It is pretty magical.
I'm tearing up. You guys can't see it, but that's like, it warms my heart. This was I feel like Anita's like, you're going to love this talk on Friday. They're going to be great. And she was not wrong. She knows me so well. I mean, I love this. I love this stuff. This is the true SARE Ladies podcast. It's just a bunch of chicks talking about relationships, and I love it. I'm here for it.
And then yeah, totally. Okay, well, spent too much longer, but it was so good. And then, if you want to catch more of these amazing ladies, Ganga will be there. Catch them at SARECon. It's going to be at the end of July. Please, we're going to be in Long Beach, and so come to ladies panel. And we have a lot of other guests aside from these two, so we're going to have a really awesome panel. So. Thank you very much, guys.
We'd love to have you back. You have to come back. We want to hear all about the Ganga's wedding. We're going to talk to you again after SARECon and see what everyone thought about it. Like, it's going to be great. I think I'd love to have you guys back like throughout the year. And Jen, we're gonna talk about how to create this course for all these women at SARE Ladies. I know they want it. This is something that they definitely want, and I would love to get that set up. And
I'm gonna love to do that too.
Let's definitely collaborate. Look at this new relationship building right now with these 4 ladies.
Everywhere. Power couples everywhere. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. Thank you, ladies.
Thank
All
you.
right. Now we cut. All right. So that's good. We good on that?
That was great.
How'd you feel?
Oh, good.
Yeah. You feel good about that?